So, Alex, what's your association with Fitzroy at the moment?
I work for a national not-for-profit company called Intranet,
Yeah.
and we're running a project on the Atherton Gardens high-rise estate in Fitzroy called Reach for the Clouds.
Yeah.
Its aim is to place a refurbished PC into every flat of the high-rise estate, of which there are 800.
Wow.
And there are approximately 2,000 residents living on the estate.
Yeah.
After the computers are rolled out, we'll network them, hardwire them to a community intranet. There'll be servers in the basements of each of the buildings connecting them to an intranet, and also they'll have access to the internet if they wish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what sort of stuff would be on the intranet, if you figured that out?
We've got a group together of residents, people from the local community, local services, government departments, all coming together to talk about what the residents want on the intranet. The idea is that within a 3-year period it will be managed by the community itself, by the Atherton Gardens community itself. So it's really important that the residents have a big say in everything that happens. So they're developing what they want on the intranet at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's things like information about services in the local area, government departments, information about government departments so that it's more easily accessible, local business as well, like online shopping, which is especially important for people who are maybe housebound, so they can get online, order their shopping from the local supermarket and it's delivered to their door.
Like the older residents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's I suppose there's a community that already exists.
There are a number of communities that already exist here, so there's the breakdown is approximately 50% Vietnamese, 25% Chinese. There's a large percentage of Turkish, Macedonian and other cultures here on the estate.
Yeah, and I suppose they change all the time, the ethnic mix.
They do, yeah. You get probably over a 2-3 year period, you get a bit of a change in the different mix of cultures.
Yeah. So on the intranet, we have things maybe like chat or somehow where the people can
Definitely
communicate with each other?
Definitely. We'll have chat rooms, notice boards, real-time video streaming as well, so people can actually maybe do a Chinese cooking program from their flat.
Yeah.
And it can be streamed to everybody else because it's going to be hard networked and it'll be all broadband intranet. So
that could be live.
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, for sure.
So and it'll be in the particular language of the
Yeah, definitely. And information also will be up in the different languages on the intranet. We've got a group of young people at the moment designing the front end of how the intranet will look. And that's been designed specifically for the 4 main cultural groups that are on the estate. Yeah.
Do you have other examples of this sort of thing happening in other parts of the world, or are you fairly unique in this?
We're pretty unique and we're pretty proud of that actually. We're
it's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's one of the first times that it's being done from the ground up, as opposed to government coming in and saying we've got this fabulous idea for this community. It's about the community itself and the people who work in the community getting in there and saying, let's do something, let's make a change, and let's go to all these different other services and government providers, etc., and ask for support and funding, but let's do it from the ground up. And what the community wants.
And what sort of PCs have you got? You said refurbished.
Refurbished PCs.
Like
They've
old Pentiums or?
Yeah, they range from Pentium 100s to, I think we just recently got some 266s, but the ones that will be rolled out will be 133s or 166s. Yeah.
And where do they come from?
Most of them have been donated initially from the Department of Human Services. Here.
Ex-government stock?
Yes, yeah, Victorian government. But supply is our biggest problem. We're looking everywhere constantly for supply of older PCs that are being rolled out from corporate, government, private.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you need about 1,000 of them.
We have enough to do Atherton Gardens.
Yeah.
The first lot we got about 2,500, so we've refurbished about 2,500. So there is enough to do Atherton Gardens and to keep another enterprise sustainable that we created to support Reach for the Clouds, which is Green PC. So the computers get donated to the Info Exchange. They go through Green PC, which was started up out of a government's community jobs program.
Yep.
It's become self-sustainable, so we've got enough computers to actually refurbish and sell off to individuals who have a healthcare card or the community organisations.
Yeah.
So that generates a revenue that's allowed us to employ 12 people on a full-time basis to run that.
Okay. And this is Atherton Gardens is the only estate in Melbourne that you...
At the moment, yeah, it's a pilot.
Okay.
So when it all works, we'll go somewhere else, I think.
Is there any particular reason you chose this estate? Oh.
We had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And Info Exchange has been in this area for a long time. One of our first offices was in Gertrude Street in Fitzroy. So we'd worked fairly closely with the communities in Fitzroy before, and we thought it was just a natural thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And what does Info Exchange do exactly?
Many things. We have a number of departments. There's a community building department that focuses on information that's distributed to community intranets and through infocasts. So weekly emails of information revolving around all sorts of community issues to, I think it's about, I could be wrong, I think it's about 20,000, we send out 20,000 emails every week. I could be wrong, that amount though. It's a large amount though. We have a web development department which focuses on creating websites and intranets for community organisations, local government, etc. We have a training department. We're a registered training organisation. At the moment we run Certificate 2 and 3 in Small Business Administration and also Information Technology, both Certificates 2 and 3. We're an ISP, an Internet Service Provider. We also have a Special Projects section, or a Digital Divide section as we've renamed it, Digital Divide, which I head up, and that has a real national focus. We operate, well, the Info Exchange operates in some ways out of Queensland, Adelaide, Victoria and Tasmania, but the Digital Divide work is spread all over those states.
And so how do you see the digital divide? Do you see it as access to computers and bandwidth? Is that the major issue? The information and communication technologies. So it's our focus is on ensuring that people who can't afford the technologies still have access to them, because the information and communication technologies become and are becoming such an integral part of our daily life. The people who can't afford the technology are really going to miss out and be even more disenfranchised than they are. So it's really important to I think give everybody to have that equity. Sure. So things like access to maybe banking or local information,
for sure,
these sort of things, or even jobs. Is important? Absolutely.
Government has a plan that within 3 years' time all their information and services will be provided online. Now I don't know whether that's realistic, but if that's the case, the people who rely on those government services most of all are going to be the most affected, because they won't be able to afford the technology to access all those services and all that information. So this is, the Reach for the Clouds project is really a big first step to to helping bridge that digital divide.
Are you involved with training at all of the people here at this stage?
Yes, I oversee the volunteer training program we have. We don't have any funds to actually employ any trainers, so we access people as volunteers from wherever we can, basically, take them through a volunteer induction program, and they're rostered on in one of the 3 training rooms we have here to deliver training to the residents. It's just basic computer training, so introduction to a PC, introduction to the internet and email, and a bit of word processing.
Okay. And have you started putting the computers in the class yet?
Yeah, we have. We started last week. We handed over the first one in a bit of a ceremony with Lindsay Tanner, MP, and that was really successful. We handed the computer over to a resident here. Her name's Kim, and she's been really heavily involved in everything we've been doing since we started on the estate, and was the first person to sign up for the training as well. So we thought that was a really good thing. So yeah, I think we've put about 60 into people's homes so far. The wiring of the estate is actually being done right now as well. So
is that broadband cable?
It is. It's what we call Cat 5 cable from every apartment. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And have you had any resistance or any problems from people, or any people that are scared of the technology?
No, not at all, which is surprising.
Yeah.
In a training situation, you have people who are scared that they might break it, but no one has actually said they don't want the computer in their home for negative reasons. Some people have said, we're just not interested, but nobody has said, oh, I don't know what to do with that, I don't want it. They've all pretty much embraced it. Yeah.
So it must be, because I suppose this estate gets some people from developing countries and stuff like that, it must be a big leap to get online.
Yeah, definitely. But most people are pretty aware of what the technology can offer them.
Yeah.
And you know, people who are refugees, people from developing countries, their first, when we started running the training, their first desire was to get on the email straight away so that they could email their friends, and so they could have a really direct line of communication between...
This is their friends back home?
That's exactly right, yeah. So not in the local area, but their friends back in the country that they came from.
Yeah. And I suppose that's much cheaper than making a phone call.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do. Yeah. So when will the project be finished? How long?
The initial stages, so the wiring and the rollout of all the computers by March next year, but as I said, it'll have another 2 years after that, where the community itself will actually take control of the intranet and the network administration and the management of the whole thing, basically, the training as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a voluntary position, or are there paid positions for that?
Possibly, that's still being worked out. We're looking at funding from various areas, and parts of it, there are possibilities for it to become a sustainable enterprise. So the support, like the user support, which when we roll out the computer, we offer 3 months warranty with sort of user support initially, and ongoing user support, but not as much as they may need. So there's the idea that some of the residents will get some training in another community jobs program, then be responsible and maybe set up their own support business on the estate, or enterprise as we call it, on the estate here. So that'll, at a very small cost to the residents, and but that will give them an income and create a bit of a venture for them.
Should we stop there?
Yeah, sure.
So Pip,